Welcome to the Biz Bash podcast, where we make biz strategy a piece of cake. I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Cami, but you might know us better as Eliza Ann Calligraphy and Cami Monet. We want to help you, our fellow stationers, artists, and calligraphers, confidently build a profitable and personality-driven creative biz.
We're here to share our honest-to-goodness advice and actionable strategies for ambitious artists.
So put on your party hat, quit being a procrastinator gator, and let's get this party started.
Hello, Biz Bash babes. Welcome back for Q and Cake number 9. Cami and I are super excited to talk to you guys today about lots of different things, ranging from how to pay yourself to how to showcase reviews from clients and lots of things in between. So we're going to go ahead and just dive on in and get started. And Cami's going to read our first question.
Okay. Our first question for Q and Cake comes from Kelsey of KMP Calligraphy. And Kelsey asks, my calligraphy side hustle has been performing better than expected. I originally planned on just investing all the money I made back into my business, but I feel like it might be time to pay myself. When you are side hustling, and even now, how do you determine when to cut yourself a paycheck and what the amount should be?
All right, I will start off with this because I'm the one that does this consistently. Cami does not do it consistently. So for me, just because of like routine and the way my mind works, like I really wanted to still be getting paid, quote unquote, on a bi-weekly basis, because that's what I had when I was like working full time for someone else. And that's just what made sense to me. So over the years, that amount has increased and gone up. But if you're in these beginning stages right now, what I would experiment with is just like maybe every other Friday, pay yourself $200, like what you pay yourself is 30% of revenue-ish. That is just a rough estimate. So for example, if you made $900 in 2 weeks, I think it's safe to say that you could pay yourself $300 of that and still have enough left for taxes and enough left for expenses. But that's always like a project to project basis. So for example, like if you did live art, you're definitely going to have enough money to pay yourself 30% because like your expense margin shouldn't be too much for that. Whereas opposed like doing an invitation suite could be a lot different. So think about that and kind of like the 30% and bi-weekly and just start by doing small chunks. That's what I did. And over time, my paycheck just kept getting bigger and bigger. And I like paying myself the same thing every 2 weeks. And then I kind of decide like, at what point do I get a raise or do I get a bonus this week because I did X, Y, and Z? Like, it's different for every single person. So that's kind of how I go about it.
And for me, I just do whatever I want. No, I really did try to like start off on a schedule. Like when I first started my business where I was like, oh, I'm going to pay myself the same paycheck I was making in my full-time job or whatever when I like started going full-time with this. And I was like really good at keeping that consistent like every 2 weeks and like being the same, like nothing changed. And then now that's like really out the window. And I just like, when I remember, I'm like, oh, I should pay myself like throw some money here at our account, throw some money. Like I'm so all over the map with it. Like luckily my like bookkeeping keeps up track with it. So it's really easy for me to like know where my money is going. I just don't like, I usually keep it the same amount, but I don't have like a set day or anything. And that's fine. Like it doesn't like, nothing breaks if you do it like every 7 days or every 3 or whatever you want to do, like every 13, every 17, 23. I don't know. Sometimes I paid myself twice in a week.
I will say it is nice. It is nice for me because like throughout 2019, mine has been the same. So I could literally say now, I know I have paid myself X amount this year because like bi-weekly, I always pay myself the same. Like, for example, like Friday was my payday, quote unquote, and I forgot. So I paid myself on Monday. Like, I don't know. It doesn't make that big of a deal because you're just transferring money from one account to another.
Just transferring money to an account. Like,
if you're a sole proprietor. So anywho, I always like having like a certain amount in my bank account at all times. So I like make sure that it's not going lower than that. So like even if 1 week I make like $10,000, I'm just throwing that out there, like I would still pay myself the same because that $10,000 would then be, some of it goes towards expenses, some goes towards taxes, and what's left over can be used as a cushion for like later in the year to continue for me to continue paying myself in equal proportions rather than like paying it all out at once.
Yeah, I do think it is good to do like the equal proportions thing instead of just being like, oh, I made a lot, so I'm going to give myself $5,000. Now I just made a little, I'm going to give myself 500. Like, and just keeping it consistent is going to be helpful for you. And like figuring out like how much you need to survive and how much like actually feels good with like your business, keeping some of your business bank account and like going back in. Like, I do think keeping it the same amount is a good idea for sure.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like we nailed it.
Okay, perfect.
All right. So the next question is from Jane of Sand, Soda, Lime. I'm pretty sure it's those 3 words. I almost said sand, soda, slime. And then I was like, nope, there's like not a third S in there. No. Sand, soda, lime. And Jane asks, she says, since you're number gals too, yay, I was wondering how you manage the divisions of your business, such as calligraphy and watercolor and Biz Birthday Bash, and the resources you guys offer. With QuickBooks Self-Employed ? Are you able to use a single login and create however many businesses you run ? I'm a creative that makes custom stained glass windows, and I also want to start a side gig to help other creatives do their bookkeeping.
Period.
Would I need a more complex program that would allow me to run several businesses of my own ?
Why do
I keep doing that?
I don't know, but I love it. Okay.
Let's put it out there first. Biz Birthday Bash is completely separate from either Cami and I's businesses, and Cami and I's separate businesses are separate.
Yes. So there are 3 separate bookkeeping systems and 3 separate logins within the 3 different businesses. So nothing is like under the same umbrella. Yes. So that makes it really easy.
Yeah. So like I use QuickBooks Self-Employed, Cami uses GoDaddy Bookkeeping, and BBB uses GoDaddy Bookkeeping, which that program lags. It drives me nuts. It does not like sync like right on point, Cami. Like we have to wait a few days.
Mine does. I think it's just Biz Birthday Bash because it's like a different level.
Should we ask them why that is?
No.
It drives me crazy.
Why? I don't even like look at it. I look at it, but like that doesn't bother me. I know it's coming.
Sure things are coming through.
I check like making sure our expenses are being categorized correctly. But
yes. So anyhow, so like all those have separate logins. That being said, Jane, if you are making income under one umbrella, like you don't have to separate those businesses. So it's like the same thing for me is like I do live art sometimes. I do wedding invitations for clients. I also sell digital downloads like through my website and not through BBB. And even though I'm helping other creatives with that and then serving clients with some of my other stuff, like they still fall under the umbrella of my business. So you would like run those businesses within that one bookkeeping program. And I think that would make a lot of sense too if it's all kind of under the same name. Unless you're completely like starting a new website. I don't know. What's your insight, Cami?
If it's under like the same umbrella like you're talking about, I would definitely just keep it under one. But she said that she does the custom stained glass windows as a creative. And then also she wants to help other creatives do their bookkeeping. So I think it depends on, if you're doing it as the same name and you're going to be like filing taxes under that one business thing versus, doing it as 2 separate ones. And also it might be good for your sanity to see like where your income is coming in from, like for either one and keeping track with it. Honestly, I always plug GoDaddy Bookkeeping because I think it is a stupid easy. It's so user friendly, and even though it apparently lags, I've never noticed that. But like if it lags, it's only like a day or 2. It's nothing crazy. Then doing 2 separate ones of those wouldn't be that big of a deal. You would probably have to have 2 separate logins and pay for 2 separate accounts. But I think it's like $5 a month or something. It's really not bad. But I don't feel like pressured that you have to do that unless it's under 2 different business names. It might just be easier for that. But I don't think you need a more complex program. I think QuickBooks is the most complex program that ever existed. So
QuickBooks itself is complicated, but QuickBooks Self-Employed is I think it's pretty darn easy.
So are you able to run multiple businesses out of one account on that or?
No, I don't think you are for either.
Yeah,
but that's why I was trying to specify. I was like, because if all your income is coming in and you're reporting your income as a sole proprietor for both of these things, then you could technically do all of the bookkeeping in one program. But for your own sanity, that, like you said, might not make sense.
Or, you know, there's like the free one, Wave, which I used before I did GoDaddy bookkeeping. And I thought that was pretty good too. Because GoDaddy bookkeeping is really good for me because it syncs with Etsy, which is really nice that it already categorizes out all the Etsy listing fees and Etsy sales tax, like all those different Etsy fees. And no other program syncs with Etsy. So that was important to me. So Wave could be a good option for you if you're
actually QuickBooks Self-Employed does sync with Etsy.
Yes, that's awesome. I don't think it was when I first started it.
Yeah,
when I got it.
Because I remember actually I synced it and then it freaked me out too much and I unsynced it because at the time I didn't fully understand like all the numbers when it was like green or black or like what money was moving from where, and it confused me. But now I have a better grip on that. That's why I was scared to sync my credit card at first too because I didn't understand what was happening. But I want to go back to something you said real quick too, Cami, that made me laugh. You were like, it doesn't lag that bad, only by a day or two. And I'm sitting here and I'm going, I could literally order something on Amazon Prime right now and have it faster.
Oh, I just meant on BBBs. I think it lags for, like on mine, I never have had any issues with lag. Like it's always like instant. So I don't know. It's definitely on BBBs.
That's so strange. What? So you said that our account level is different?
No, our account level isn't different. I'm just saying like maybe like, you know, because we do it such a big launch at once.
At once, it takes
only like the income that lags. It's not like expenses.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's just, I think it's Stripe more than it is that. So
yeah.
Anyway. Okay. So next question.
Gosh, you guys are causing Cami and I to fight. No, I'm just kidding.
Wait, we're fighting? Oh my God.
No, we're not fighting at all. That was a joke.
Oh my goodness. All right. Next question. Lauren of Lauren Ligon Calligraphy. She says, I know you both use different ways of filing taxes. You guys are killing me with these questions today. All right. But how did you learn what taxes to charge? I feel totally lost and am still a pretty new side hustle. But even still, as I start taking on bigger clients, I'm worried I'm not doing state/federal taxes correctly. Do you use an accountant to figure all that out?
First of all, yes, I use an accountant. But second of all, like both GoDaddy bookkeeping and QuickBooks Self-Employed give you estimates, quarterly estimates for filing federal taxes.
For your income tax, your federal income tax. You can do quarterly estimated taxes for that.
Yep. And then you go to like irs.gov/payments. And you submit it there.
And it's literally just an estimate. You don't even have to be right. Like it's fine.
Yeah, it's literally just an estimate. And like you'd have to be way off to get any sort of like fee or punishment. And normally those programs do a pretty good job of being spot on because last year, guys, I was off by like 100. That was it. I only had to pay $100 more. I'm not sure like where the discrepancy happened, but I will say that I don't pay like estimated state taxes. I just do those at the end of every year. So I make sure I have like enough money set aside.
And I don't have state income tax here in Florida, so I don't have to worry about that.
So freaking lucky.
But I do have sales tax, and sales tax would be on products, not services. So like any kind of products, and that's only the products that I'm selling in the state of Florida. This is a very tricky subject that we don't really talk about because it varies state to state, and so literally some of this advice is literally could be totally wrong for your state. I don't know where you live, so the sales tax is just charged on products. And Florida is a destination-based state, which means that you charge the taxes based on the county that the buyer is in, which is very confusing because all the counties in Florida have different sales tax rates. And it's nuts, basically. So I have to keep up with that on my Shopify site, on my website, but Etsy takes care of that for me. So that's another perk of Etsy. And they will also charge taxes for the seller if they're like in Pennsylvania or different states. Like you'll notice that a sales tax charge comes on there. You don't have to worry about any of that.
Yeah, because there's some law with Pennsylvania. It's like they always have to pay sales tax or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's crazy. It really is different for every single state. And so for the sales tax, I just pay that quarterly. I'll get like a little email from the state of Florida and I just go and file that, and it's no big deal because most of my stuff actually isn't sold in Florida anyway. So it kind of works out.
Oh, are you able to do that? You are able to do that quarterly instead of monthly?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's quarterly. Oh. And maybe it's monthly nice. For others.
Right. It could be monthly in Georgia. Like that's what's super important.
I think you can choose to do it however you want, but like the way I've done it is just quarterly.
Right. So like for
here's the pay
someone
period.
whose business is doing huge amounts of sales tax, it makes sense to do it every month. But for you, like you said, you're like, a lot of those purchases aren't in Florida. So I think you joked once that you like submitted $20 of sales tax.
Oh yeah, it's usually like $15, like $20, $30. It's nothing huge. Like maybe at Christmas time is when I have to submit like a larger sales tax thing. So and then I have to like separate out 6% to the state of Florida, 1% of discretionary sales tax to my county. It's like very confusing, but it's not that bad. I'm making it sound more confusing. And if you don't live in Florida, it's fine. And then so I guess that's pretty much it. Like that's the only sales tax I'm paying. So the estimated taxes for your federal income tax that you'd be paying on what you make, which is usually about 25 to 30% of what you make, you want to set aside for paying those quarterly estimated taxes. If you've downloaded our top 100 tips and tricks, which is available on bizbirthdaybash.com for free, we have a lot of stuff about taxes in there, and you can click the link and pay it immediately. Like it's very straightforward. It's not as scary as it sounds. I promise.
Yeah, I actually learned something from Cami when we were putting that together, because I was like using this complicated system or website to submit my quarterly estimates, and I didn't realize you could literally go to irs.gov/payments and do it there. And it was so easy.
Yeah, there's a lot of like third party things out there that are going to try to like make you pay like a $4 service charge or whatever, and you think you're doing it in the right spot and you're not. So like, yeah, that's really helpful. Yeah. And then the sales tax in your state is just gonna vary. So I would definitely recommend maybe reaching out to an accountant if you need more insight on that, especially if you sell products.
Yep. I actually feel like we did really well with that one.
I was really scared, but I guess I know more than I thought.
I think you do know more than you give yourself credit for. Okay, I'll read the next one.
Okay.
I listened to episode 15 about building relationships with wedding vendors and was so interested. And it was so interesting from a photographer's perspective. My question is, how do y'all go about contacting the photographer to send them a suite? Do you ask your couple if they want the suite photographed? Is this part of one of your proposals or questionnaires to the couple? Also, since Morgan suggested asking your couples for a complete vendor list, have you implemented that into your process? Thanks for all your hard work. And thank you. That was from Caitlin of My Indigo Prince, if I didn't say it already.
Yes, you didn't say it. Okay, so let's just break this down into, Morgan is awesome, by the way. I love that episode. Two different questions. So how do y'all go about contacting the photographer to send a suite? Is it part of one of your proposals or questionnaires to the couple? So for that one, I literally have on their love story and invitation questionnaire that I send to my couples, that I just say at the bottom, I have like, who is your wedding planner? Who is your photographer? And they just write in the name. And then I just do the work of contacting them myself. And so I'll just reach out to the photographer or the planner and be like, hi. And I usually just put like, hi from so-and-so's invitation designer. And I introduce myself and I'm like, I'm designing their wedding invitations. I'd love to connect with you and send you like their finished suite ahead of time and some goodies so you have for styling, so you can get some photos. And if there's anything else I can do to make your job easier, let me know. Like just something like that. And so I just reach out on their behalf. I don't really like ask the client's permission. I do let the client know like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and send a suite to your photographer so they have it and ready to go. So that's one less thing for you to worry about on your wedding day. But I don't like ask their permission. Like I'm doing it.
Yeah, I know. I don't ask permission either. I just follow up, and I don't have that in my questionnaire in the beginning. I do have more of it as like a surprise at the end. So it's part of my offboarding process, basically. So once the invitation suite has been mailed out, that's when I say to the client, like, oh, and by the way, I'm going to be packing up your extras. And I also have a couple that I would like to be able to send to your photographer and your wedding planner. Do you mind giving me their names? And so then I take the additional steps to find their email if they like didn't give it to me and contact them. And I have only had a photographer say no once, and it was super weird. Like honestly, the planner and I were both super weirded out. We were like, oh, what? You like don't want it ahead of time? Because I did all this due diligence on behalf of my couple, and then I had to like tell my client that like the photographer wouldn't take it early. I don't know. It was super strange. Like most of the time they always appreciate it and love having it. Like you're not going to experience like pushback, especially not from your couple. I mean, if you're just making their life easier. So don't feel like you have to ask permission. Just like do it and wow them and make it part of the amazing experience.
Exactly. Okay, next question as part of this question. This is like a 4-part question. And since Morgan suggested asking your couples for a complete vendor list, have you implemented that into your process?
No.
No, I'm actually probably never going to implement that in my process because I don't think I need to know all their vendors unless I was like doing a blog post and I'm following up with them, be like, here's why I need a credit or whatever, which I am not doing anything like that. And I probably will never get around to doing that. But for now, I don't need to know who their florist is. You know, honestly, just the photographer and the planner is the only person I'm going to be interacting with as part of their vendor list. So I think that really, for a photographer, I think that makes so much more sense because they're usually giving images to the other vendors and doing their blog posts and tagging people. But like for us, I don't think you don't need it as much. But
I still love the idea of potentially doing that because even though I don't need the florist contact information, I would love to network with the florist.
I know.
If they had like clients that would be a good fit based on like that wedding.
No, it is a good idea. Like, I don't think it's a bad idea. Like, you should totally do that and like have at it and get connected. Like, it's a great way to make vendor relationships. Maybe we worked on this wedding together and like maybe send them a cute little greeting card or whatever in the mail. I don't know. So it's another way to get connected. I just don't see myself doing it. Like,
yeah, no, you don't need to do it. You just, and we've already said it before, but Cammie's like not taking more invitations right now, so she doesn't like.
Elizabeth, no one is ever going to reach out to me again if you keep putting it out there. I'm just kidding.
People who listen to this are creative, not people
trying to like chill for a minute. I mean, I have a lot to do. I have a lot to do right now. So, okay. Yeah. Okay.
And I'm only saying that because you're at full capacity, not because you don't want to do this anymore.
You're right. That's right. It's not that I don't want to do it. You guys. Sorry, we're fighting.
Disclaimer, because I'm having
a marital dispute. I'm just kidding.
It's getting late in the day. Cammie needs more sandwiches and snacks.
I need some coffee. It's literally that time. But it's fine.
We're almost done. Do you want to read the next one?
I do. Okay. So how do you two feel about bridal and wedding shows / expos? I get contacted all the time about being a participating vendor for these shows, but I feel like it won't be worth it in the end after creating / setting up a booth and paying vendor fees. Would it possibly be worth it if you sell merchandise? ? Sandra of At Paper Hearts Design Co.
Thanks for that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, guys, my feelings about these are just kind of like I'm over here kind of like giving like the thumbs down. Not because I don't think they're valuable for people, because I know that people have had great experiences, because I know personally myself, that sounds like a nightmare. Like, I just couldn't. I can't.
I feel like the general consensus within the stationery community is that they do not get any really like solid leads or clients from this. They get in front of a lot of people. They might get a lot of people on their email list, but typically the people going to the wedding shows are not their ideal client. Cause I mean, you're really just thrown into a mishmash of people, you don't know who's going to be there. It's like really, it's just kind of like throwing spaghetti at the wall at that point. You're not really connecting with someone like an ideal client. Like you might get 1 or 2, but I've never had anyone be like, it's such a great like ROI for your business, like such a great investment. You should do it. Everyone's like, nah, don't. It's just a waste of time. And I haven't done any wedding show that I paid for. I did do one where they just invited different local vendors to a venue and it was free. And this was like, I don't know, 2 years ago, a year. I don't even know. But I went because I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. Nope. It was a lot of work and nothing came from it like at all. And I, hauled all my crap down there and it was just like nothing came from it at all. So I don't think they're necessary. If you want to do it and you want to maybe meet other vendors and like just get your name out there, if it's like your first time starting your business and you just want to have like some kind of tangible way to start networking and marketing. And I feel like having a semi-custom collection, this might be better for you than like if you do fully custom. I just think that the right clientele is not there for fully custom.
Yes. I agree with that because I know that like Empress Stationery has done a couple and that makes so much sense because she has these beautiful collections. So those people that are coming through that are maybe looking for something on a quicker turnaround, because a lot of time that's the case, like a semi-custom collection would work really well.
You know what else? I think if I went there and just did like signature drink signs and only signature drink signs, I think that would do good, actually.
Yeah, actually, I think that would do amazing. Like if you picked your one thing.
Like one thing. I don't think it's an invitation, so you guys. I think it is just like the one thing, like going in with like, oh, I only do like really cool, like a very specific type of seating chart or something, like going in with the one product or whatever in mind. Like, I think I could kill it with a signature drink sign at a wedding show. I might test this theory the next one that comes up. Probably not, because I don't want to leave my house, but I might. I'll think about it. Be interesting, because I love doing that. So.
And I like to remind people too, because you had already kind of said this with like your ideal client and like who's actually there, is a lot of high-end clients in luxury weddings are getting their vendors from all referrals. They're not setting foot in one of these like wedding shows and expos because most of the time they don't have the time to do that, you know? So yeah, high society, you know, they're like getting all the names from the other people who are like local or who have worked together before, and that's why networking.
We do have some like, so important, very fancy wedding shows here in like Winter Park. You've been around Winter Park with me. It's like very, very fancy, very expensive, but like I don't know. I'm still not gonna do it probably because I'm just like I don't know. But all right, well, that's our thoughts on that one. So
it's pretty straightforward.
The next question is, I'm going to read it because I already started. Okay. Masha, Pro Marie Creative. And Masha says, how would you recommend collecting and showcasing reviews from clients? Thank you.
Kimmy, do you really follow up and ask people for reviews?
I do, actually. I ask for reviews right after I mail their invitations. So in my email where I send like, cheers, your invitations are mailed, and it's got like this cute little champagne gif and stuff. I'm like, your invitations are out their door and the way they're guests, blah, blah, blah. In the meantime, I would be so honored if you could leave me a review and let me know how the experience was. It really helps me get other brides and stuff like that. Like just something along those lines. And like 99% of the time now that I've started doing it at that time, because they're so excited about their invitations being mailed, they literally go do it like right away. I don't want to wait too long. And even though they haven't even got them in person yet, like they still are like over the moon because the experience is really fun. They're seeing the painted stuff and like they see the sneak peeks on stories. So they might as well have seen them in person. And also I feel like this is sneaky because I do it before I mail it. And I'm like, if anything goes wrong in mailing, at least I got the good review.
Oh my God.
I didn't plan it like that, but I'm like, honestly, I think it's a perfect time. Like you hit them right at a really exciting time, like giving them really good news, kind of the culmination of the process. And then asking for a review then, because you've kind of given them something. So they're like, oh, I should give her something back in return. The law of
I know. My most recent girl, I forgot to ask her for one right away after we sent it out, but we're working on a couple things for her day of. Mm-hmm. So I haven't like totally lost contact with her. So I think it'll still be easy for me to sneak that in and be like, please leave me a review. And I'm sure she'll be more than happy to. There's only been like one of my brides that I really wanted to get a review from, and I never did. And I followed up probably like 3 times. But people's lives are just crazy. And I waited way too long. That was my biggest mistake, is I should have done it like as soon as I mailed them out. And I think because that was one of my first big ones, I was like, oh, I don't want to bother them. I'll wait till after the wedding. Nope. Horrible idea.
You don't want to wait till after the wedding, because then you like they go right on their honeymoon, and then after that, no one cares anymore. Like they just are like over it, and they're just, hey, I don't think they're going to leave a review. And then in terms of where are you asking them to leave a review for you?
I ask them to leave it first on Google, and then I say, if you feel so inclined, would you please copy and paste it over to the Wedding Wire /Knot. They're like the same thing now.
Yeah.
So I give them both of the links in the email. I'm like, here, write it here on Google first and submit it, and then copy and paste it to here if you have an extra moment to do that for me.
I literally only ask them to post it to my Facebook page to review it on there. I don't ask them for. I can't get my Google like listing set up. Like I tried to do it, and it's like, oh, it's still. I don't know, but well, that's another thing. But yeah, and then I used to try to get Wedding Wire and the Knot, and then I'm like, and I don't care about any of these people who ever reach out to me from Wedding Wire or the Knot. Like they've never actually booked or followed through, or like have gotten clients from there. So I'm not interested in getting the reviews on there. And my Facebook page, I feel like is a better representation of people finding me. So I just asked them to leave it there. And then I copy and paste that onto like my wedding page and have like a little testimonials thing. if it's some really good ones. I got like some really good ones lately. I was really impressed. Like they're really sweet. But
amazing.
yeah. And before this, I used to like send this form that I made in Dubsado that like was like 10 questions, and it's stupid because it was just like, what did you think of the experience? And like, you couldn't get a good review. I'd have to like write it myself versus just being like, just leave me a review. Like sometimes I think I tried to overcomplicate asking them for a review and making them fill it out in this thing. Like it was stupid.
Right. You want it to be automatically posted, and it's just, it really depends on where you want that stuff shown. So like Cami likes doing it on Facebook. I would never do it on Facebook. That wouldn't make sense for my business. Like I want everything up on Google. And Cami, I was wondering too, on the back end, did you ever get something in the mail that had like a pin on it for your Google business stuff?
No, because I was trying to do mine without an address, and there was like some kind of workaround to do it because I didn't want my address on there, the Google listing. But maybe it didn't work. Like it was some. Anyway, we'll talk about it. Maybe you can help me figure it out.
We'll talk about it later. Anyways, yeah,
I would ask there. I would ask for Google if that existed for me.
I have, and I'm like you too, though. I also have like a testimonial page on my website where I'll copy and paste things over, and they're like kind of sprinkled throughout my website too in different spots.
Yeah, I love that. That's perfect. So
I try to use them as much as possible because they're all so nice.
I know. Honestly, having those reviews and social proof, I'm just realizing more and more like how important it is. So I'm really trying to like build up that basis.
I know. I literally think I might end up doing a bunch of them like on my homepage, but we'll see. There could be some big branding things happening. I'm still deciding.
I'm here. I really want to do something. I'm like, that's why I'm sitting on those brand keywords over here, just like time to do something. But I'm getting antsy just thinking about it. In a good way, like excited. I don't know. So yeah, we shall see.
Makes sense. Do you feel like we covered everything pretty well?
I feel like we freaking nailed it. How about you? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I was like, are you there? Remember that time?
I'm here.
One time, you guys, Elizabeth wasn't there, and I just rambled on. Then in the middle of it, I was like, Elizabeth, and she wasn't there.
So funny. Yeah, I got cut off because of like a tech problem, right? Was that when the power went out? Yes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I was like, Elizabeth? And then just was like, all right. Then I just carried on anyway. It was amazing.
Oh, too funny. All right. Well, if you guys have any additional questions for Q and Cake that you want answered, make sure to head to bizbirthdaybash.com/Q and Cake and submit your question there. And hopefully we will be able to get to it at some point. We're still working through a long list, but we're trying our best to get through a bunch of them. We even did 6 today, guys, and we normally only do 5. So
and one of them was taxes, so you know it's getting serious, okay?
Cami saw that one and goes, oh, I don't know if I could do this. I was like, you could do this. It's going to be okay. I promise.
Why did you put that one? Take that one off there. She's like, we're doing it. I'm like, no. It's scared sometimes that I'm going to sound like a moron and you guys are going to listen to me and be like, that girl's an idiot.
But then we always disclaim it and we're like, and go ask your accountant or go ask your lawyer.
And go ask someone who actually has a brain. Thank you. Goodbye.
And that is my TED Talk. Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye. Anyway, you guys, if you do feel like asking us, like Elizabeth said, just bizbirthdaybash.com/Q and Cake and we will answer it on the podcast. We love you guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Hey there, fellow stationers. Are you creating custom invitations and still sending a lackluster contract that's hacked together with Google searches and generic templates? We've got you.
We've created a custom stationery contract written for stationers by stationers, and it is lawyer reviewed and approved. #LegalRockstar. The custom stationery contract covers every stationery snafu, protects you and your client's interests, and sets up an expectation of professionalism. We've combined our previous contracts as well as years of experience to bring you a contract that covers your booty and your biz. So become a put-together pro and breathe a sigh of relief knowing that you have a contract that is easy to understand and avoids confusing legal jargon.
The custom stationery contract is only $227, which is half of what you'd expect to pay anywhere else, and it's written by 2 gals who have seen it all.
Spoiler alert, it's us.
It's time for you to do things right. Go to bizbirthdaybash.com/contract to purchase and download your copy today.